Good afternoon, class. We are looking at statistics, a course for spring 2026. My name is Dr. Arapo, and you may call me Dr. A if you have a hard time pronouncing my name. I sent several emails slash announcements regarding the course, asking you to explore the course. Here we are. Let's quickly go over what's happening. This is the homepage of Canvas. And I've set it up so it starts with uh, numbers. So number one, there is a short video, a couple of minutes, welcoming you to the course. I'm very happy to have you here. And number two is the class philosophy. Let's quickly look at it. Okay, just over. You can read it on your own, but in short, this class is a community, and therefore we all have the same objective, and that is to learn. The purpose of that is to make sure everybody has a chance to help one another. Course objective, it is about the use of probability techniques, hypothesis testing, so on and so forth. As far as the contact information, you have my email address here, and you can use the inbox of Canvas as well. I'm going to go back to the homepage of Canvas. The second one was the philosophy. The third one, various announcements. I'm going to put that in student mode. And you can click on the announcements here or on the left navigation bar. If you look at the left navigation bar, for example, the announcements here, as you can see, a bunch of announcements are here, all of which have been sent to you. Okay, welcoming you to the course, and there was a recorded orientation. This is an old one. This is from the previous semester, very similar to this semester. Some people have gone through that. I'm going to go back to the homepage. Number four, under number four, we have the syllabus, modules, where you can find your access to your digital platform where you do your homework. It's called My Open Math, and short, I'm going to call it MOM. Practice test solution, discussion forum, exams, and so forth. So I'm going to start with the syllabus. Again, you can click on the syllabus here or on the left navigation bar. So let me leave the student mode, click on the syllabus. There are a couple of things under the syllabus. One of them is the Excel calendar. It's one of them is the Excel calendar, and um, as you can see, every 3-4 weeks we have an exam. The first exam coming up in February 28th, and a couple of assignments are due right away. One of them is introductory assignment to my Open Math, and one of them is algebra review, which basically shows you your prior knowledge of mathematics. Going back to it, the next one is the top one is the syllabus, and nowadays the syllabi are um, very long, so that's why I put them in the format that you can see topics. You can go to a topic of interest. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes covering the entire thing quickly. So we have the name of the course and the section number, student learning outcomes, course objective, the text, and I'm going to go over that again. I'll show you when we go to my Open Math. It's by OpenStax and it's free. The online assignment is by My Open Math, short MOM, and that's also free. And as I mentioned, the class calendar, and you have a bunch of it here that indicates, of course, the orientation, and then every few weeks we have an exam. All exams are set that you take it on Saturdays, okay? By the week in advance, you receive the information, including the password, everybody, okay? And you want to start no later than 8, 9 p.m. because it expires at 11:59, but you want to give it enough time so you're relaxed and you take the exam. There is no proctorial, but I'm assuming everybody take the exam on their own. And there's a pledge. So you are going to assume you take the exam on campus. There will be a recorded practice test that will be available to the students. Meetings and important dates, technology calculators. There are various calculators online that you can find for free, and I will list them here for you. Tech support from the publisher or the campus or the Canvas is here. PyShop, which is the math lab, and you can get tutoring there. Grading policy. In short, it's a point system. You get 1,000 points total, and 90% or 900 points and above is an A, and so on. So what do we have? We have 200 points of homework, which is 180 plus 10 plus 10. 10 and 10 come from Introduction to MyOpenMath and Algebra Review, and that's the first week in a couple of days. And those are the very first assignments that are due. The purpose of that to make sure if the students are not serious, we should know that, and if they need to drop out. Then we have the discussion forum that's worth 100 points. There are 5 of them. There are 5 modules. Each one is 20 points. There are 4 exams. Each one is worth 100 points. And the final, which is comprehensive, 300 points, giving you a total of 1,000 points. As I mentioned, 90%, that means 900 points or more, is an A. 80%, 800 to 899 is a B, so on and so forth. There's basically no makeup test because you have the entire week. After, like a Monday, you receive the information, including the password about the exam, and you have the entire week. But if something extraordinary happens, you can send me proper documentation. If it's acceptable by campus, you may be given a makeup exam. Also, the final score, okay, can replace the worst exam grade as long as the following is true. The final score is a grade of B, that means 80% or higher. Homework and discussion board, both of them are at 90% or higher, and this action will result in a higher letter grade. Otherwise, it defeats the purpose. Course late work policy, for some of the assignments, with the 10% deduction, you can do them. I highly recommend you don't, because it's very hard to, catch up otherwise. And there is no late work policy for mandatory assignment to MyOpenMath, Algebra Review, and the last module. And of course, the discussion forum, because the discussion forum is available as of now. And we'll discuss that shortly. CSULB study 36, it indicates that we need 3 times the number of units to do well in a course per week. So this is a 4-unit course, which means we need 12 hours to do well. Dropping policy, basically students who miss the orientation don't start with the beginning or miss any of the exams, or the first week assignment will be dropped from the course. There are other important information such as OSS, financial aids, and so on. And here's the summary steps to success. Study the PowerPoint in each module. Do your homework before the deadline under the module. Study the practice test and their solution. Post question in the discussion forum. Send your question via Canvas. Attend the office hours for Q&A and take the exam. And the office hours is posted here, as well as the homepage of Canvas. And that's on Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. All right. Here's the netiquette for online learning. And in short, the guideline is very straightforward. We want to be professional, and we want to be courteous towards one another. We want to use the correct spelling and grammar. When you send an email, you want to follow that. You want to make sure you have the proper subject line, okay? So I have over 500 students. I would like to know in the subject line, what is it regard to, and the course number, and so on. All right, so that's the syllabus as I mentioned, and I'm going to go back to the homepage of Canvas. After that is the modules. Under the modules, you can find just about everything happens under the modules. So before I go over that, I'm going to mention a couple more things. At the bottom of the page, as I mentioned, you have the office hours here posted as well as the syllabus. And I want to discuss the discussion forum before I go over the modules. So when we click on the discussion forums, what do we find? Number one, student bios, and you can find mine as an example. I highly recommend you put yours if you'd like your fellow students to get to know you. And if you want to reply to anyone, please do so with utmost respect. Okay, so that's one. And of course, it's not graded. The second one is a frequently asked questions, FAQ. And again, this is not graded. Sometimes students in the past have had questions that were being repeated. I put them here, for example, how to use the math editor in Canvas is mentioned here. Do I need a course ID to register for my Open Math? You really, I mean, generally speaking with Canvas, we don't, but you do need it, and you can find it under the modules in this case, okay? As it mentions here, just click on the modules, and I will show you in a moment. Tech support, other information, and this is surprisingly happens that on the week of the exam, there are students who send an email asking for the exam password. The exam password can be found under the announcement and will be sent to you in a week in advance in the form of an email. If you miss that for any reason, you can find it under the announcements. Okay, so I hope everybody's clear on that. And I'm going to go back to discussions. And now, what else do we have there? Now, DB, okay, discussion board for sure. Module 1, module 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 are being graded. Each one is worth 20 points. So I'm going to look at one of them for you. Okay. And it has a, it is available until a specific time, but it is due the day before the first exam. I want you to know that. It's due the day all your assignments are due before the first exam for the first module. Okay. And the exam takes place on Saturday. On Friday, all of them are due, except the first couple of assignments. So you are required to post at least one question and its solution, either from practice test number 1, posted under the modules, or any source of your choice per grading policy in the syllabus. You must read all the posts and make sure not to duplicate any question. Similar questions are acceptable. In other words, if you pick a question and somebody else has already done that, that's unacceptable. You get 0 points. So read all the posts. I can't emphasize this enough. Okay, questions and solutions posted by others, and pick a different one and make sure you type the question properly. Okay, and this is worth 10 points. 10 points. Again, write the question number and copy down the question. If you go with a question from a practice test, and I'll tell you where to find it, you want to write the number. Show all steps using the math equation editor or embed an image solution as explained. In other words, don't say, okay, here's the calculator work and here's the answer. That's not what I'm asking. I want detailed solution. And when we do you can look at the practice test solution, see how I do that. Find a similar problem online on YouTube or Khan Academy and post the link. That's 5 points. And finally, comment on or explain at least one classmate question that is either solved or is found online and posted by watching it carefully in its entirety. Explain about what the question addressed and what you learned from it, and outline a few steps you learned as a result. A compliment is nice, but it's not a comment. A lot of times I see that the students start writing a compliment and they even make it a huge paragraph, but they don't write anything about what they have learned. Okay, so that's not a comment. So here's an example. Okay, I have a question. I've written it with details here, and the solution is here, step by step, mathematically. Then number two, I picked up a similar question on YouTube. And finally, look at the comment. This post was about the z-score, so on and so forth. So I'm explaining about what the post was about and what I have learned. So you get 10 plus 5 plus 5, 20 points as long as it's done on time. I'm going to go back on the homepage, and the module covers everything: homework, practice test, and so on. So what do we find under the modules? Again, you can click right here, or on the left navigation bar, again, just if you click on the modules. And if it might, if you view it as a student, there is not as many, topics under the left navigation bar. So modules. The very first thing you find, how to log into my OpenMath. So if you click on it, class, it gives you the website, it gives you the course ID, and it gives you the enrollment key. Just copy paste it so you don't make a mistake. Okay. Copy paste it to be on the safe side. All right. And we're going to double check that afterwards. In the meantime, back to the modules. Now, what do you find under the modules afterwards? Okay. We have the PowerPoint lectures. Week 1 to 3 or exam 1 module. Week 4 to 7 or exam 2 module. 8 to 10 or exam 3 module. Week 11 to 14, exam 4 module. And then 15 to 16, module 5. And at the end, we have formulas and so on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at the very last one first. Okay, the very last one has formulas. You may use formulas for statistics because they have a lot of formulas that are pretty complicated as well. The next one is the tables. You can use the table. You can use a table or a calculator. Either one is fine. For example, here's the z-score table. Okay, and the t-table and so on. The last one is the information about the calculator, more specifically TI calculator. I want to explain a couple of things here. Number one, you may try this website, okay, and you may be able to get a TI calculator. If you could, it looks like this. Okay, you can get an emulator. And I'll be very honest with you, sometimes it doesn't work, but try it in case. And there are other graphing calculators. These are the links that I put here for you in case. Also, these are TI calculator commands, more specifically for stats. That's what I mean. I have the TI calculator, I have the command. So I don't want you to, when you solve something, you have to show work. You don't want to say, okay, the calculator said so. That's not what you do with the discussion for. So we have those. And at the end, there are more calculators that you can try them. And I highly recommend you look at each and every one of them and see which one is the best that works for you, because sometimes one specific calculator works better for some students than the others. And I can't emphasize this enough. Okay, going back to the modules. So that was at the bottom. At the very top, over here, are recorded lectures. What are they? Well, first, let me start with week 1 to 3. When I explain that, then I'm going to go to that and tell you what you can find. Over here, what do you find? Starting with PT, short for practice test, everybody. Here's the practice test, and I highly recommend you take about 5 minutes to read it. It gives you the synopsis of what is being covered for the very first exam. About 3 to 5 minutes. Roughly about 42 questions. And I highly recommend you do 1 or 2 questions per day. And these are the questions in case you want to pick from them for the discussion for. But definition is not acceptable. Okay. And a question that is, the answer is 1 word or 1 sentence is not acceptable either. Something worthwhile for the discussion. Then what do you find? In chapter 1, 2, 3, these are where you find the PowerPoints. And at the end, so first we have the practice test, then we have the PowerPoints. Let me click on it. For example, chapter 1. So you see section 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. If you, and I'm not going to do that, if you click on chapter 2, same thing, you get the sections, in this case, 4 sections. For chapter 3, 3 sections. So we have those sections. So first we have the practice test. Then we have the PowerPoints. Those are the lectures. Finally, what do we see at the end of exam 1 module? This is the solution, step-by-step solution to the practice test that I showed you in the beginning. So this, let me just send this down. This was the practice test. And now this is the solution to it with details, everybody. Okay. So again, under exam 1 module, we have the practice test, we have the PowerPoints, we have the solution to the practice test. And what do we find here? Right here, recorded lecture practice test. Click on it. Okay. First, you see latest practice test recordings. And if you go down, you see the instruction on taking exam. And these are PowerPoint lectures. So these are the lectures. I showed you the PowerPoint. These are the lectures, section by section, everybody. Starting from 1.1. So you have the PowerPoint and you have a lecture which step by step explains everything. Over here, these are practice tests. So if, as you recall, under the module, we have the practice test, we have the solution to the practice test, and we have PowerPoint recording of those solutions. Everything you want is there, everybody. Okay. So I hope everybody is following that. So let me recap. This one is important. So under module 1, you can find this. This is the practice test. You can find this, all the PowerPoints. You can find this solution to the practice test. You can find the set of the lectures on those PowerPoints from section 1.1 on. And you can find the solution to practice test recorded. So everything you need is here, everybody. So I hope everybody's fine with that. So going back to the homepage of Canvas, we practically explained everything. So I want to go back to the modules, remind you that how to log into my OpenMath. You go to this website, you need this course ID, you need this enrollment key. I would copy paste both of them to be on the safe side. And then what happens? You can go to my Open Math. And this is the digital platform that you do every assignment, every homework. So what do you find at the very top? Introductory assignment to my Open Math. This will tell you how to deal with my Open Math. The next one is algebra review. The purpose of that is to show you what is your prior knowledge of mathematics, okay? And how much you need to, review if need be. And they are due immediately. Under exams, you can find the exams that are coming up. For now, you don't have to worry about it, okay? So this is the expanded mode. I'm going to close it. Then we have the course description. This course provides an overview of statistic reasoning. Topics include descriptive statistics, so on and so forth. As we move on down, you see a calendar here. And again, I want to start with the exam. Look at the exam one. And right before that, you have a bunch of homework. And these two assignments are due immediately. Now, I want to discuss those homework. Do you have to wait until the day before the exam to do them? And the answer is absolutely not. If you do, you really won't learn much. You won't be ready for the exam. Please don't do that. I can't emphasize this. Okay? Instead, do one section every day or every other day. So by the time you get to the week of exam, you really don't have much but to concentrate on your practice test. And when you do so, you will nail the exam. All right. Module 0. What is Module 0? As the name indicates, Module 0 would be a bunch of resources. So I'm going to tell you what they are, okay? Starting with the text. This is the text, everybody, okay? And it's based on this, and this is online. And when you view it online, it's easier. So this text is everything you need, and it's based on this text online. If you need to study anything, this one is easier to navigate, okay? But it's practically the same. So when you go to my Open Math, under Module 0, you have resources, for example, where to find the text. As we scroll down, gradebook. If you're done with something and it's past due, for example, an exam, if you click on the grade, you can see it in practice mode, okay? To review any of your assignments. Instructor resources, tables in the form of a PDF file, formula sheets, and so on. Multimedia library. And again, remember I showed you the free online calculators on the syllabus. You can find them here too. I highly recommend you look at each and every one of them and see which one works the best for you in case you want to use a calculator online. One of them is this one. I put it at top. That's mainly for stats, so you may have an easier time with that. Or this one, that's a stat calculator for social sciences. I would highly recommend look at each and every one. Then again, instructor resources, more videos. Specifically, we have calculators for p-value, okay, z-score to p-value and so forth. In case when we get to the p-value towards the end, it becomes difficult, you're more than welcome to look at that. More online calculators, okay. One of them is the Desmas in the form of a graphing calculator, and a video explains that, how to use it. Online stat calculator, daily schedule calculator, so on and so forth. So this Module 0 has a lot of resources. I highly recommend you look at it. If you don't need any of them, so be it. What do you find under Module 1? Under Module 1, you find the chapters that are being covered for the first exam. This is where you do your homework. So, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. You click on this, you expand Chapter 1. You click on 1.1, you expand it. And why do I want you to go here? And let me go up there and show you that you can find all your homework here. Okay, you can find all your homework here. But it's better that you go to Module 1, Section 1.1, and here's the reason. First, watch these videos and report if there's a broken link. The videos in red, in the past, students are telling me that they really work good for you. So you may want to pay attention to that. Then my videos are here and videos by other professors. The point being, there are so many resources available. You choose the one that works the best for you. And your homework starts from here. The only thing I want to mention here, and I'm going to look at the homework. So as you start the homework, notice, for example, right here, you see video 1, video 2. This one has a video, this one doesn't. So my point being, a lot of them have help, and that is what makes it easy to deal with. So as an example, let's start with this mandatory assignment. And how do we deal with that? The first one is asking to enter the number. We're going to just put it in 15 point. And notice the moment I click on the box, a math palette opens. Okay, 15.3975. Okay, so I just put in the number. Okay, the second one, 15.3. Okay, we want to raise it, okay, to the nearest hundreds. Next to 9 is 7, so it goes up to 10. So then we have 3 becomes 40, everybody. Okay, because we are rounding it to the nearest hundreds. Division by 0, we can divide by 0. If you click on it, it's undefined, but now DNE does not exist. And then at this point, you have to submit question. The moment you submit, the check mark says you did it right. So you don't have to worry about it. You can move on. And I want to tell you right away, your grade for this question has been, determined, and you already have it. And you don't have to worry about anything else. When you submit the question, you get your grade. What about here? 1/3, and we want to enter minimum 4 decimals. So let's make a mistake and just put 1 decimal. 0.3 is wrong. It's 0.3 bar. If you submit the question, notice an X tells us we made a mistake. So do I move on? No. Get a similar question. So I'm going to get a similar question until I get this right. And that's the beauty of the homework. There is no time limit, and there is no limit as to how many times. I think you have quite a few to try. It gave us the same number. So I'm going to put 0 point and a bunch of 3 afters. Now I submit the question. Notice what happened. Check mark. I got it right, and I can move on to the next. Instead, something comes up, I can't continue. If I click on done, what happens? 2 questions are already done. I already got my grade, and it is, posted. Then if I come back and I resume before the due date, I can continue. If it's after the due date, of course I can. Or I can exit. So if I never come back, the questions that I received, that I got right, I've already received the points for them, okay? And it's posted. So here's the recap, everybody. Here's the homepage of Canvas. We went through the homepage, a couple of minutes of welcoming you, class philosophy, announcements. Anytime you miss it, just it'll be sent to you in the form of an email. Just go back and find it there. Okay. One of the things that I mentioned was recorded orientation. Right here, we had an older one. Going back to the home page, then we went over the syllabus. We have the calendar and the syllabus. We went over the discussion forum. Under the discussion forum, you have the student bios, frequently asked questions, and they are not graded. Okay. This is for practice test number 1, and it's graded. Okay. And it's due 1 day before the exam, just like the homework. And that is worth 20 points. There are the rest of them in the same manner. Each one is worth 20 points. Going back to the homepage. The next one is at the bottom, you find the student office hours, and it's posted under the syllabus as well. And under the modules, we find just about everything. At the very top, you go to myopenmath.com. Here's your course ID. Here's your enrollment key. The second one are recorded lectures and practice tests. The next one, and that's the one you're concerned with, that's exam 1 module. It starts with the practice test and it ends with the solution with the practice test. And as I said, under the recordings, you can get the recording of that also. And in between, you have the chapters that are covered. In this case, chapters 1, 2, 3, PowerPoint lectures. At the end, formula sheets, tables, and information about a lot of calculators, especially about the TI calculator. When you register with MyOpenMath, in MyOpenMath, you start with introductory assignment to MyOpenMath. The algebra review, those are the ones that you get started. You see the exams and you ignore it for now. Module 0 contains a lot of resources, including the text. You go to Module 1, Chapter 1, Section 1.1. You watch some videos here, or you have watched my videos, either way. And then you start your homework, and the homework has a lot of help. So I hope everybody's clear as to what's going on. That's pretty obvious. I wish you all best of luck and happy studying, everybody.